Well, hello there. You guys have been great in helping to decide what is upcoming on the video. So I decided to share with you all the thrift flips that I did for my booth. The wonderful thing about this is we will have farmhouse, vintage, and what to do with that aged decor that you have. So stick around because I think you're going to really like these ideas. And as I promised before, some winter projects. This is something that you can do right there at home, and you can take your time and do it as you feel. So stay tuned. Let's get to the video. When you go thrifting, look for these wooden covers. This is a cheese hoop wooden cover that was converted into a hanging sign. I removed the hanger from off of the back of it, and because they are roughed wood, you'll need to give it a light sanding. And this one was done up in a faux arc stencil from time ago. Use your Waverly white chalk paint. Will make it a breeze to cover it. I went about painting it, and there will be gaps around the edges. Now the ideas with this is put at least 2 coats of the paint. I tried the makeup sponge to do my farmer's market stencil that I got from Walmart, and I found it very cumbersome, so I did end up using the Dollar Tree stencil brush. Here's some ideas with this tray. Number 1, you can use it as a tray, turn it into a Lazy Susan, and or do it as a sign as I'm doing here. When it's not in use and you're not serving with it, you can place it and hang it about your home for decor. This makes great thrift flip, turn into farmhouse, and you could even make this vintage if you desired. It's a simple breeze of using your stencils and even your rub-on transfers. Go ahead and spot paint anywhere that your stencil may have transferred some of your black paint, unless you are doing it vintage. And be sure to seal it with some Waverly wax over top of it. That will preserve the wood and make this very functional item for a long time. Which one do you prefer? The cheese hoop tops are really unique. They're made out of wood, and you can make them into a tray. They hold a lot, and you can hang them on the wall. So when you're not using them to serve things on, or maybe making you a display or vignette, then you can hang them on the wall, take them down as you need them, and they're up out of your way. So next item you're going to really like. This quilt square was put together probably by someone who practices Wicca or something of the sort. So I changed it up, and this is how you can board a quilt block. You're going to take a frame, as she did, and cut out some foam core board. I'm using wooden dowels, just the little skews, wooden skews, to secure this into the frame, because the frame is not square, and apparently it had been purchased and put together just with glue. There's no nails or anything in that frame, and it's awkwardly shaped. So trying to square it up and secure the foam core board inside. We will not be attaching the quilt block directly to the foam core board. We're going to attach it to the frame. So hang in there with me for just a moment. And this is just a way of taking a larger frame and still making it fit to where it can accommodate a beautiful quilt block of an odd size or a square size. You get to decide. And this is a way to take your fabric scraps, glue them together with fabric glue, or sew them together to form your quilt square. You can make this as this one was done. As I am placing it on the frame, I'm using my utility clips there from Dollar Tree to hold it into place. I'm also showing off my Trigger Fire Sure Bonder staple gun. If you've not seen me demonstrate it before, this one packs a punch, excellent for upholstery, and this is the perfect job for this particular device. I'm going to use it as standard versus using the Trigger Fire, but in case you're looking for a good handy one that's durable and heavy duty, check the description box down below. I will place my affiliate link there. So as you've laid your block upon the frame, first thing you want to do is make sure you've adjusted enough overhang in the back that once the cloth comes over the top edge, it will lay flat and it will
be there. You can staple it into place without damaging the fabric. It is not going to cause it any harm. This is a beautiful, charming way to display a quilt block. For those of you who do not sew but are very interested in quilt blocks, find them attractive, don't pass this by when you're doing your thrifting and you come across this, or maybe a rummage sale, church bazaar, or garage sale, and you find an orphan quilt block, or maybe your grandmother, aunt, or mother has one that you really want to keep. You can take a section of that quilt, even though it's no longer has the strength to hold up for washing and wear, so you can't use it in your home or put it on the bed or cozy up with it on the couch. This is another way to maintain and preserve a part of that history in your home. You can place it on a framed board. And as you see here, I've left this in the video to demonstrate mitering the sides. So we've already stapled the fabric over the side edges. Now we're mitering the corners so they lie flat and they're folded underneath. I have seen pieces like this displayed in museums and at quilt shows. They can become a very collectible piece. The idea with this particular quilt block is I am making it to where anyone would feel comfortable on it, especially if you love primitives such as I do. So this can fall under your farmhouse, vintage, and your primitive home decor thrift flip. Once you've put the quilt block on there, you can trim out with some lace or ribbon, even adorn it and embellish it with jewelry, pins, all kinds of beads, or things that you really love about maybe your mother, grandmother, or aunt, someone who made this quilt block. And as a demonstration, my daughter, her very first quilt block she ever sewn and completed, I will be framing it. When I do, I will show you how I go about it, since it's more modern and up to date. But this will keep it acid free, will not cause it any more damage, and preserve it for many, many years to come. This makes a great gift. And as you can see here, I've made a frame from the ribbon lace. It has a small crochet bag at the top, this little crow in the corner, and now they can add another photograph or two to this frame and still show off the quilt block itself. Let me know, do you like the before or the after?
So you have those little orphan quilt blocks, or maybe you've been in a thrift store consignment shop and saw them and thought, oh, that's so pretty, but I don't know what to do with it. Well, the neat thing is by placing them in a frame or placing them on a board and hanging them about the wall, or placing them in some of your vignettes, like if you have a wooden caddy or a tray or, you know, bedside table, knickknacks and things like that, you can better utilize that quilt square and enjoy the beauty of it, even if you're not a quilter or someone who sews, but you admire those who have, and you admire pieces that you've come across. So don't ever take it out of your mind. It's a great idea, and it makes wonderful, wonderful decorating of your home. It gives it that warm charm and that comfort that people really like about you.
Handiwork and cross stitching is hand stitchery. And this little charm thrift flip truly touched my heart. It has that country feel to it, and they had placed it in the back of this frame with little brads. This cross stitch is an old one and still a favorite and truly beloved by anyone who are Southern or primitive and farmhouse decor. So removing all of the pieces, including the hanger, from off of this frame, we're going to frame it properly, and we're going to bring it up to date and make it farmhouse style. It does have the potential to be vintage as well, but anytime you run across in your thrift flipping, look for those pieces that people have hand sewn, cross stitch pieces, and things where someone took the time to sit down and it was truly with their heart. The Waverly White chalk paint made painting this frame that was especially made for this particular cross-stitch piece a breeze. I also did some dry brushing by some watered down ink of the Waverly ink paint. You can also do this with your acrylic paints. And as I went about just dashing it all over, even though I've already painted it white, this is kind of a distressing without removing paint and getting back down to the bare wood. There is a light sanding that actually buffs the paint that's been placed on there and gives it a rubbing effect without removing any paint from it, and smooths off any rough edges. Coating it with the Waverly chalk paint will once again preserve the wood for a long time to come. Always buff your brush in your lid and get it worked into the bristles. Use as much of a circular form as you can. Now, to make this professionally framed, I am cutting a piece of cardboard the same size as the actual stitch work. This hand stitchery, which is cross stitching, is what we call the original megapixels in digital style that is actually right close and personal. This masterpiece, I know that someone worked long and hard on it and took the time to purchase the Ada fabric and put it on there. So putting it on the proper boarding will protect it for many more years to come. Now that I've got the difference, the gap is taken up in this frame, I want to cover it with some craft paper in the back. Wood glue works really good just to attach the craft paper. It's acid-free, non-toxic, and this one came from Dollar Tree. I'm smearing the glue out really well, and when I place the craft paper on there, I will also add some additional glue around the edging of it to make sure the craft paper stays fused and sealed to the frame. This one is truly a beauty. I attached the hanger back to it in case the individual who purchased it would like to hang it up or set it about. This is one of the smalls. This is the before and after. What do you think? This photograph pencil caddy is mimicking the cameo. Cameo is collectibles and they're very expensive, but this one is just a replica and it is made out of some kind of plastic, even partial resin. And I'm going to use pistachio mint. This is a way to make it shabby chic or vintage. And make sure you dust your pieces that have all these little tiny crevices. And a small paintbrush makes that really handy and easy to do. As I apply this pistachio mint, which is one of the Deco art paints, and they really truly are designed to be in your primitives and your vintage. I'm going to glaze it with white wax, and that white waxing will give it this finish more vintage in appeal. It will act as a glaze without being a whitewash. It will preserve the paint that's on this particular item and make it last a long time. Mold had actually grew on the bottom of this piece, so I removed that and cleaned it up and then painted over it. Now I'm going to take my chip brush and a little bit of watered down Waverly black ink paint and just enough on those bristles. Now this is a unique kind of method that you can go about doing a dry brushing, and as you hit all the risen areas, it's going to really truly make those roses and the ribbon pop on this piece. It is absolutely stunning and beautiful. And this little caddy that holds pencils and a photograph in all four sides is going to make someone's desk, study, table, or a gift. It is a wonderful piece. These are always worth the time. And even though some people may not find them very fashionable, I find them quite exquisite. I can put all of my grandkids in there, along with all of my scissors and pencils, and have my command station and be able to enjoy them every day with a smile on my face. I wasn't satisfied after I sealed it with the Waverly wax, so I decided to print off Emily Dickinson's poem about birds and wings to fly. I had 3 cards with the acrylic cover for this caddy, but the other one was missing its cardboard and its acrylic frame cover. So this was a way to put something in that spot that would still be complimentary for any person who owned it and give them wings to fly. It just is a cherished piece. I think that someone will enjoy finding in my thrift flips at my booth and take that home as a wonderful gift for someone they love. Here's the before and after. Which one would you prefer? Really neat home decor thrift flips always require you to find beautiful little tabletop shelves. This one was broken and busted, and they had actually repaired it, and it had broken loose again. It was not really evenly fixed. So I'm going to take some wood putty and try to repair the cracks and breaks, since the nails and brads that's in it are holding up really, really well. I felt that this will kind of get a band-aid on it, and once it's painted, will give it a little more security. These are, to me, miniature hutches. They allow for my smalls and teeny tinies to sit about my home, things that I've adopted and enjoy. So this thrift flip turned out beautiful with a couple of coats of Waverly chalk paint. And that was all there
I
was to
do
this
find that towered little shelves that are small and don't take up a big footprint are ideal for me, because it's like having little miniature hutches all through my house. And I can put those little tiny knickknacks that I love. I love smalls. I love finding them. I love thrifting and garage sales and yard sales. My children give me little things that they come across because they know I just love those little things. I like to adopt them, take them home, and show them some love. They're so easy to wash and maintain because I can wipe those off with a damp cloth when I'm going about my home. When I'm dusting or whatever, I can take just one of the wet towels and wipe them off. So they're really easy to keep up and maintain, and they add a little color, a little spark of personality throughout my home. And as you can see, I live in my home. And I show this on the video because I don't think I should hide from you. You guys, you are like me, and you watch my channel because we are kindred hearts. We are just alike. We have a lot in common, and we like the same things. And I know that you're working hard doing your DIYs, and so share that with me. Put comments in the boxes down below. I'd love to hear more from you. So stay tuned because there's more to come.
This DIY home decor flip that's kind of neat is a letterbox, and it's made out of pleather. It's a very plastic cover. It looks like leather, and just with your hand you can actually roll it off. It peels off. So I thought I would do a test run and see how well this would hold up to painting it. It's not the first time I've painted pleather, but it is the first time I've dealt with one that was a sturdy box that was peeling so badly, and I thought maybe the paint might preserve it a little longer. This is one of those thrift flips that you take a chance on. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, you don't have a lot in it and it don't hurt your feelings. Once I put my black on it, I left the other pieces alone because they are paper covered, and I covered it with a chip brush and white Waverly chalk paint. Using my paint marker, I'm tracing out the threading that's about this box to kind of give it that, I don't know, industrial, modern, minimalist appearance. So this may fall under a different category, but some people do like to have these handy. I know that I am very organized, and I keep my letters and my bills right where I can see them, because out of sight, out of mind, and I don't want to not pay on time. I know it rhymes, right? Now, squaring this up and finding the center on the front, I am going to use the actual, these are scrapbook vinyl letters I get at Walmart. There's many in a pack, and they have the full-size capital fonts as well as the small fonts. They kind of connect together and give it that more up-to-date vintage look. I do like the font, and they're very nice, and they're just the right size. So I placed the word letter. Now I'm going to make a confession. When I found the center, I usually do this really well, but the problem is I started with the wrong T in the center of the word letters. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do now? So I show you how I fixed this. Once I get all of the stickers on there and the word letters onto the box, that's when I realized, oh my goodness, I meant to do that in the middle with the second T, so the word letters would be in the center of the box. So there are little tricks you can do. So watch what I do. I take the black paint marker and I make kind of a little squiggle line in front of the word. And that way it looks as though I put the letters on there offset intentionally. So there's always a way to recover. Now I did follow with some Waverly wax, just with hopes that I don't want that chalky feel of this paint, because you can truly, it shows up real well and you can feel it. But the Waverly wax smoothed it off, gave it a smooth finish, and to be honest with you, this looks really nice in my booth. I hope you enjoyed this one. Which one do you
So
like?
if you happen to be in Thomasville, North Carolina, go to Thomasville Emporium and check out booth 83. You will find Kindred Things there, which is my offspring and how I run my booth along with my cousin. I love you. Until the next DIY, well, this is Elizabeth, and I'll be crafting y'all. And watch the next video because you might just like some of the new things that's coming up.